Content and keywords. There's no way around this fact, so I'll just say it. In order to succeed, you must have good content. Now that doesn't mean that you have to be a great writer or even that you have to do the writing yourself. And before anyone packs up and leaves, let me further qualify and explain what I've just said. First, and most importantly, the internet runs on content. Nobody goes to a site that doesn't have good content or provides the information that they're looking for, at least not for very long. The entire foundation of your affiliate marketing business is a topical website to which people with an interest in that topic can go and get something out of it. In other words, your website must be one for which a visitor can say, I got something out of it and it was worth visiting. Without that, you will not succeed. Content focus. Content, of course, is made up of words and phrases. It's these words and phrases that will drive traffic to our website. The search engines will figure out which words and phrases are relevant for our site and then rank us according to how we stack up next to other sites using those same words and phrases. For a long time, this led webmasters to focus much of their energy on optimizing their sites specifically for the keywords that would drive traffic. It also set up that conflict of interest where keyword optimization rather than quality content was what brought visitors to the site. The search engines have undergone profound changes. While not perfect, the changes have gone a long way to reversing this trend and correcting the balance. Not everyone has caught up with the changes, and there are still legions of webmasters attempting to game the search engines through optimization efforts that used to work but no longer do. And that's great news for us, less competition. In order to succeed today, the most important consideration is content focus, by which we mean not keyword focus. Your content must focus on the topic that you're writing about. Content optimization efforts should be applied to being descriptive and informative, using variations, synonyms, alternative phrases, alternative meanings, etc., and not focused on the specific keywords. It's taken a long time, but for the most part, search engines are starting to understand content and relevancy, and so they don't need to be force-fed keywords. Whether we create our own content or outsources, here are the musts. All website content must be 100% original and 100% grammatically correct. You cannot have any spun content on your site, and no scraped or copied content. To summarize, we want our articles to be based on topics within our niche rather than based on specific keyword phrases. Optimizing your content. In the earlier version of this course, this was a pretty big section. It isn't any longer. Why? Because content optimization no longer works. We used to optimize our content in order to manipulate Google rankings. This no longer works. What does work, and what everything, and I really mean everything, should revolve around is optimizing for visitors. Optimizing for visitors. One of the most significant fallouts from Google's Panda updates is that almost the entire ranking landscape has changed, beginning with content, and it isn't just about an article or a page. Low-quality content anywhere on your site can hurt your ranking efforts everywhere. If we want to manipulate Google for rankings with our content, there is a new cutting-edge tactic: well-written and focused content. Now this doesn't mean that we can't include our primary keyword phrase in the title of our article, for instance. We do, but that's because this would occur in well-written, focused content. And that really is the key to content optimization. Include appropriate keywords where it would be appropriate to include them, in the title of the article talking about the subject of that keyword. Anything beyond that, and the determining factor must be appropriateness. It's appropriate to use a target keyword in the title when the content revolves around that keyword. This means that your content, what visitors actually read and react to once they arrive on your site, must be worthwhile. It doesn't need to be the best on the planet or Pulitzer Prize-winning material. It doesn't even need to be great or extraordinary, but it does need to be good and worthwhile. Fortunately, there are many ways to accomplish this. Of the hundreds of marketers I've worked with directly and the thousands who have been on our private forum, I have yet to meet a single one who could not fulfill this requirement either using some of the following methods or by outsourcing. There are three basic things that we need to cover here. First, how to create content that converts visitors into buyers. I know too many people with amazing sites that look great and are well written, but they make no money. There are quote-unquote emotional buttons that we need to push to move people through the sales funnel. Next, number 2, how to format for SEO effectiveness. This is not as big of a deal as it used to be. And lastly, and number 3, how to organize your content wisely so that people and search engines can find similar material. Profiling. There's a concept in marketing called profiling. The idea is a simple one. Create a profile of the ideal customer, visitor, consumer. If the profile is accurate enough, you can use it to help fashion your marketing, your products, really everything, to test your efforts against. For example, we developed a site a while back around the topic nursing school programs. We created a mental profile of the target visitor, female, 18 to 25 years of age, high school graduate, etc. We could then target that person when designing the site, developing content, promoting offers, etc. If our profiling was valid, and it was, we would see very high conversions on the site, and we did. The more you understand about your target market, the better off you will be, not just for creating content, but for everything. Demographics. Understanding the demographics of your target market is hugely valuable on numerous fronts. But how do you find demographics when you don't yet have any visitors? Fortunately, it's quite easy. There are online resources that can give you fantastically valuable demographic information based on websites. You input a website, they tell you everything there is to know about its visitors. Simply search Google using your niche topic or topics, then use the top-ranking sites to feed in to these resources. Being the top-ranked sites, this is exactly the information that you want and the people you should be targeting and profiling. Quantcast at quantcast.com. Alexa at alexa.com. Google Ad Planner at google.com/adplanner. Compete at compete.com. SimilarWeb at similarweb.com. The EROTIC Method. You'll want 10 to 15 articles in advance and drip them over the course of a month. This way you can work on promoting your site without having to go back and write more. I promise that I'm not just being titillating. EROTIC stands for engage, rapport, open up, titillate, indicate value, and call to action. I think if people put the same energy into writing content that they did with their relationships, there would be a lot better stuff on the web and a lot more wealthy affiliates. If you're writing a review site, you need to speak the language of selling. This means that you need to seduce your customers and get them in the right mood, the buying mood. In the same way that we build romantic relationships by introducing ourselves to strangers, standing out and being interesting, showing them how cool we are, while showing genuine interest in their needs and desires, being useful without being clingy or desperate, and closing the deal with confidence, we can close a business deal without ever meeting our customers by using the methods that we're going to cover. I want you to put yourself in your visitor's shoes, and that's an exercise you should do often, and ask what information they need to know in order to make a decision. They're going on a journey from arriving at your site looking for information, or to solve a problem, etc., to building trust in you, to seeing a product can be of use, or a solution for them, etc. This is going to be a little different for each article and niche, but this formula works well no matter what you write. Engage. You know who never gets any action at the single bars? The guy or gal who sits in the corner and stares into space. If you aren't engaging the opposite sex and letting them know who you are, then you might as well wear "Nothing interesting here, move along" shirt. In the online world, our headlines work the same way. It doesn't matter what your article is like unless you can grab a little attention. People are skeptical, and there's a lot of garbage out there. Picture that after every sentence. The person reading is going to stop by, hover over the X button, and ask themselves, should I keep reading this? Engage them with a provocative title, an interesting sentence, or a compelling question. Generally, people have an interest in dangers they should avoid, products that they should buy, numbered lists, ways to save time and money, negativity, in other words, things that are bad, things that suck, people that are bad, or in bad situations, and extended metaphors, why something is like something else. Next is rapport. There's nothing worse than going out with somebody only to talk about themselves. People want to be around people that care about their problems and want them to succeed. In real life, we can show our interest by looking someone in the eye, smiling warmly, and listening well. Here, you create rapport with the reader by introducing a problem they're having and explaining how your product can fix it. Describe what the product is, then discuss how it feels to have the problem physically, then emotionally, and then introduce your solution, then talk about how it feels to get rid of the problem. There are a few different ways to do this. You can tell an interesting story about yourself or the kind of person that would need this kind of product. It was around my third pair of ripped jeans that I decided to see if the little extra 450s were the right jeans for me. It's always been tough for me to squeeze into designer jeans, no matter what my weight was, because of the way my hips were built. I'd have to wear either something way too tight or go up a size and look bigger than I was. But when my best friend suggested I try little extras, it gave me a little bit of hope. How did it go? The other thing that you can talk about is the company that made the product and the problem that they're trying to solve. The woman's jeans market used to be so homogeneous. If you weren't thin, you weren't in. Women didn't have much of a choice but to struggle their way into a pair of pants that did not fit quite the way they should. Luckily, things have changed, and there's a big market for jeans for women with curvier figures. But do little extras get the job done? And more importantly, do they do it in style? And finally, you can make the story about the reader. It's the worst thing that can happen to any child. When your child cries and cajoles you every time you drop them off at school, it can put a dent in your workday and give you feelings of guilt no responsible parent should have to cope with. But the Stress Safe system promises to improve your child's disposition and the quality of your life. Does it really live up to its promises? Anyway, if it's appropriate, you can close the paragraph with a question you'll answer in the rest of the article. Basically, this opening paragraph isn't just a chance to talk about a product. It's a chance to show the person reading that you actually care about them and want to help them. Open up. Relationships just aren't about smiling, introducing yourself, and making googly eyes. And they aren't just about whispers and passion either. The vast majority of a good first date is pretty mundane, learning about a person and finding out whether they fit into your life. As you open up to them, they'll open up to you. Spend 2 to 3 paragraphs giving a solution to the reader and rewarding them for making the click. Don't just throw together 3 bland paragraphs. Try and organize them in a way that is coherent and tells a story. Now there's 3 basic ways to do this. Number 1, what are the most dramatic problems facing people who use this product? If it's snowboarding supplies, it's probably being cold and getting wet. Talk about the most urgent problems and then slowly go to the more aesthetic things. Number 2, what is the most unique feature of this product? If everyone wants to know something right off the bat, then don't deny them. And number 3, go outside in. Start talking about the design, cosmetic features, and the exterior of the product. Then discuss the details on the inside that will make it work. Titillate. Sexy writing and sexy interactions in real life have something in common, and that is that they are devious. Plenty of people have quote-unquote nice dates, but if you aren't getting your hooks in and being seductive while you're having your normal date, they just won't find you interesting. Be colorful and inject your own personality into your writing. In most niches, you aren't uncovering brand new information as much as you are packaging it in a new way customers can identify with. You don't need to get in the way of information, but you do need to be interesting. You can also start sprinkling your credentials and the credentials of your sources or your personal story. As you write, it's important to sound like you know what you're talking about and have a deep appreciation for the subject that your site is about. Intelligent asides are a way of reminding people that you're a real person that's opinionated and experienced. This Samsung phone has a Super AMOLED screen, but those screens are mostly marketing hype. If you read my other reviews, you'll know I don't like the girth of their jackets. Panasonic bread machines don't come with a cooking window, but that's actually a good thing because they mess with the flow of the heat and ruin every loaf. Indicate value. You don't just want to talk about your life and be funny. You need to make your customers want to be with you. So as you write, sprinkle these seductive authority boosters in, and they'll take your articles from wimpy to wow. If you got a list of bullet points from an Amazon page, you need to translate sales speak to patented features into plain English. Explain why a feature is so special. People don't care about what a product does. They care about what it does for them. Let's say that you're reviewing a stroller with waterproof material. Which shows you how valuable the stroller is? A single bullet point that says, waterproof exterior? Or, it's terrible to have to deal with mold on the inside of your stroller. It smells bad and it draws attention. Luckily, Greasy Baby Bus 2 is water resistant, so you can carry your baby around in peace. Instead of relaying a list of features, start talking about the benefits and get them imagining this product in their everyday life. You also increase your value by frankly discussing the flaws of your product. This is crucial to a longer review. Point out the good and the bad of your product. Think of it as a way to show that you're not like the other guys. If you're promoting an Amazon product that has a common complaint about it, point it out. Then reframe it by asking yourself how to solve the problem. The horizontal fitness stroller is very lightweight. That makes it tough for parents looking to carry their baby over rough surfaces. So it's best for people who are going to be carrying two things at once or need maneuverability. Don't use the price of an item as a negative. First of all, prices come and go all the time, and then you don't have time to update every 3 months. Second, it's about value, not cost. If you can, give some examples of people who have made this solution work. If you are reviewing an Amazon product, it shouldn't be hard to find someone who has gotten through the flaws of your product. Call to action. Finally, you need to summarize your article in a couple of sentences and explain the effect of applying the steps in the article. If you ask any questions to open your review, answer them. Be as specific as you can about who this product is designed for and will help the most. When you've done this stuff well, you'll really show off the value of your information and yourself. Longer, more in-depth reviews just convert better. They give more information, build more trust, and demonstrate the kind of value we need to move people down the funnel. Once you have shown off the value of your product and yourself, you have to seal the deal. There are so many people who blow it at the end of the night because they're afraid of rejection. They settle for a kiss on the cheek or a handshake, and they go home unsatisfied. And that's awful. In the dating world, this means no play. In the online world, it means no work, and it's tough to tell which is worse. Once you've seduced someone and satisfied their needs, you need to close the deal and tell them what you want to do. Link them to your website, newsletter, e-course, whatever it is that moves them further down the sales funnel. Then tell them what to do, whether it's leave a comment, sign up for a mailing list, go to Amazon and buy a product, or whatever. Just like in our romantic relationships, everybody isn't going to be quote-unquote the one. If Hall Berry doesn't have a 100% conversion rate, you shouldn't expect to either. But it's easy to forget the rejections when every yes rings in your bank account. Outsourcing it. I have never ever been satisfied with a Fiverr article, even remotely. If you're looking for help with a project, go to articles, spelled with a Z, so articles.com, or need an article at needanarticle.com. I prefer Need an Article because you can be a little more detailed in what you want them to write, and the turnaround is a little bit faster than articles, and there's a lower monthly charge. Anyway, even the best content is pointless if you can't actually get people to your site. So let's start talking about how to format our articles and give ourselves the easiest road to get to the top of the search engines.